I've been watching some Kimberly players lately, and I realized that you guys have absolutely no idea what you're doing in Burnout. I saw someone do stand medium punch, stand heavy punch in the delay slide, the frame trap someone, and yeah, I gotta make this video, bro. I can't be seeing this with my own eyes, bro. You guys are bad people. All right. So how do you get in when they're in Burnout? Well, it's way easier. So if you do a spaced out slide, usually you're just safe when you do this, but in Burnout, you'll often be plus. So that was +1 right there with the full screen slide. That was -1, so it's safe. +1 there. So you can kind of do these extremely slabby slides and still be plus. I wouldn't recommend this because you can get punished if they neutral jump or whatever, but it's an option to keep in mind. You can do stand medium kick and the EX overhead, and it'll frame trap them, and it'll also be +3 on block or knockdown. Your jumps will become a lot more potent because elbow drop is now +2. So now you're in, you're plus, and what do? Your overhead hit, you'll be plus enough to dash, you'll be +5. And then crouch heavy punch is 8 frames, which means if you land an overhead, you'll be plus enough to do a crouch heavy punch. Crouch heavy punch in the overhead frame traps in Burnout, and the overhead becomes +1 for a regular overhead. So you can loop these overheads over and over again until they start blocking it, and then you'll be +1. So you can do crouch jab, it'll be +2. So you can do a stand medium punch. If they mash here, if they mash on the crouch jab, your stand medium punch will trade and you'll be very plus after. If it's in the corner, you can get a medium punch on this trade. Leads to very big damage. And if you're mid-screen, you can get a medium kick and cancel that. And if you don't have enough health, link a jab. Alright, so they didn't mash. Now what? So after you land the stand medium punch, you're +2. You have extra advantage. So you can go into a couple things. The main thing I like to go into is an EX overhead. This will frame trap, catch them mashing, and it's also an overhead. So you'll catch a lot of people with this. Another thing you can do is, if you're trying to bait super, is you can do medium punch run stop, and it's even on block. So since it's even on block, the super freeze, if I mash here, so I pressed a light punch there, you can see it on the left side. I pressed a crouching light punch, but since the super freeze happens on the same frame that I pressed my light punch, I can cancel my light punch into parry, and I can bait the super while still keeping my pressure. However, with this, if they mash, you'll trade and you'll be even. Most of the time though, you'll be able to steal your turn back because they won't be as ready for the situation as you are. But if you just want to be plus, then you can just do an EX run stop. You'll be +3 after, which means that you can go for a low. And this can just repeat. So essentially, you try and go for crouch heavy punch. If you can't get crouch heavy punch, go for a jab. Go into medium punch after that, and then either pick high or low. Your opponent just has to guess. One final option, if you could sneak in a couple of these overhead. There is a gap, so they can jab this, but you can mix in regular runs, and it'll frame trap them. And lows if they're just blocking the overheads. On any overhead knockdown, just go for crouch heavy punch. Crouch heavy punch is the best because you can go high or low. You're +2, but the overhead naturally works, and the low naturally works as well. Let's say you land a low, you can either do an EX overhead and you're +3 afterwards, or drive rush back in and keep doing overheads or lows. As you can see, drive rush stand heavy punch into run stop is +4 as well, so you get the same sort of situation where you can go high low. This target combo frame traps into an OD overhead, or is +1 if you go for a run stop. If you're just looking for chip out, you can loop crutch heavy punch into EX run, although I haven't found a whole lot of use for this. Alright, that should be all. I better not see anyone do delayed slide anymore. Please, no more delayed slide. Whatever you do, no delayed slide.
Mole mole.